Welcome to a deadline stream for Matchday 3, and of course a lot of you are going to be wildcarding, and it's very likely that I'm going to be activating myself. I haven't done it yet, so this is how my team is looking like at the moment, but I haven't made any transfers, and I already discussed this. If I were to make 2 free transfers, I'd probably be looking for a way to get Kevin De Bruyne in. I think he's a must-have this week, but it's very difficult to get him and also a striker or whatever to kind of facilitate that move, especially when you see how good Ronaldo's been in this tournament, because he's most likely going to be making way to fund that. But I'll be going through all your questions. There's going to be a lot of kind of 50-50 decisions. And of course, I mean, let's not even talk about some of the ones that affected me last week. But yeah, in terms of how I did in the end, I mean, I haven't even updated the points, but yeah, it hasn't been too good, to be honest. 57 points overall. Yeah, I mean, let's just forget about that. Some decisions like Dumfries, for example, I had him in my team. I even got him in again last second, but it was just after the deadline passed, so we'll have to wait and see there. But wait, let me check actually. Let me just do this for a second, and then I'll be going through all your questions, so apologies for that. And yeah, let's see. Yeah, never mind. Okay, so that's all done. Thank you. 40 people are here. Remember to smash the like button and get in your questions. So I was here at 11 a.m. says Darcy, and then Shumsy says I was here at 10 a.m. I mean, that's quite impressive, to be honest. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see there. I was here after the UCL final ended. I was here. Yeah, a lot of people are here. That's very good. So thank you for joining in. And actually, I think I realized why the points aren't selected. So this is my bad. Let me just get it up. And yeah, this should be it. There we go. So that's my updated points. So forget what I had before. It's 57 instead of 52. What a great turnaround. Mbappe blanking. Hernandez not even playing. Didn't bring on Lloris because there was no need. And yeah, got rid of Ronaldo and Jota. Of course, in the Limitless, that wasn't too good. My wildcard team says Ali, Stecklenburg, Spinazzola, Mailer, Dumfries, Eden Hazard, KDB, Berardi, Perisic, Marlon, Yaremchuk, Isaac. Bench, Simon, Pau Torres, Gossens, Gnabry. Thoughts? It's a very good team. I like the Isaac pick as well. I'm just, obviously, from a non-fantasy perspective, he looks like a very talented young player, but I'm not so sure if he's going to get points. But, you know, maybe Poland is the one to go for. That will be the time he shines in terms of points. But I like Yaremchuk a lot. Marlon could also be very good. And also, by the way, so since my last video, there's been a bit of kind of news coming about. So there's kind of like a leaked Italy lineup at the moment, but also the Netherlands manager Frank de Boer, he was talking about how Netherlands are going to be lining up, and he said there's going to be 2 changes, and a lot of people suspect De Roon is going to be making way because he's pretty much 1 yellow card away from suspension, and Gravenberch can come in instead of him, and people do think that Workhorst is going to make way for Marlon. So that could be the 2 changes. So if you have Dumfries, Depay, Wijnaldum, they look like great assets for this week. And that's why if you're on a wild card, you want to have probably 2 of them. But yeah, and Marlon's also another good shout this week. But yeah, in terms of your team overall, it's really good. And apart from maybe Isaac, who I'm not too sure about in terms of fantasy points, it looks really good. And I like that. Some good differentials. Well, I played my Limitless. Sad the Portugal and Spain did bad. Yeah, I mean, Portugal were just so shaky in that game, and Germany, I mean, they're much better than what we give them credit for. Against France, they should have gotten something, and they didn't. Mbolo, yeah, I think Mbolo's a great option this week, Modi, and I had him in actually one of my wildcard drafts. Just not so sure, but Turkey's definitely a team to target. As you can tell, they've conceded the most goals, I think the most chances as well. They've just been very poor. And yeah, I mean, some people will even go for Ricardo Rodriguez, for example, in the Switzerland defence. Yeah, England and France did so bad too. Yeah, but you'd still expect both of them to qualify. Same with Portugal and Spain. But yeah, it's not going to be completely, it's not going to be smooth sailing for them. Welcome, Kobe. Welcome, Rock and Roll. Why Wildcard Now? Well, it's just a way of being able to differentiate yourself. You can get some great differentials this week, and you can build a team just for Matchday 3. And if you are careful enough when you're doing your wildcard team, or should I say your round of 16 team where you have unlimited transfers, you can pick players who are going to go far into the tournament. So yeah, you're going to have plenty of free transfers to navigate that, the teams that are being eliminated, and you can do well. Obviously, ideally, you'd want to save your wildcard for the latter stages of the tournament, but you could also use it now, and it's a great chance of getting ahead. And if you look at my team, for example, let's go through it. I've already talked about it in my team selection, but Donnarumma's fine. I'm not too bothered about that, and Hradeski is the backup. No worries there, even though he is facing Belgium. Then you look at my defence. Now, Mailer is actually one of the best options this week, but a double Denmark defence against Russia, I'm just not that sure. Wijndal, I probably thought he would play, but because of Frank de Boer's comments, I'm just not so sure now, because only 2 players are coming in, and the rest is going to stay the same. They're going to be playing 5-3-2, so it could just be Dumfries still playing there. And then Denayer, I don't know if he's going to start. I know Thomas Vermaelen will. Roberto Martinez kind of confirmed 4 or 5 of the players who are going to start for Belgium. So Eden Hazard, KDB, Vermaelen, and Witsel, I think they're all going to be starting. But other than that, he was kind of coy on players like Lukaku, for example. And he's another one in my team. Lukaku might not even start. It might be Batshuayi. So it's not really ideal. And then you look at, for example, my midfield. Nigo's just bench fodder. Ferran Torres got benched in the last game. I would expect him to start against Slovakia, but just not that convinced with Spain in terms of spending £8 million on, or 8 million, should I say, on a player. Pau Torres is fine. He's a good option this week. He should start. Berardi, I think, is going to start, but I'm not exactly sure. And if not, I think one of Insigne or Berardi will be benched at least, and I think it will be Insigne. Then you look at my forward line. I think Depay will start based on the comments made by Frank de Boer, but Ronaldo's facing France, and that's where he could blank. But then again, people said that against Germany. Look how well he did. And then, of course, like I said, with Lukaku, he's a big rotation doubt. So you look at my team, and I think there's a big argument to be made for wildcard, and I'll be showing you the draft I have currently in a second. Is Vermaelen guaranteed to start? Yes, he is, Dylan. He is. Is Lukaku starting? Like I just said, I don't think he's completely nailed to start. It could be Batshuayi, but if Lukaku recovers well, I think he will start. But Martinez, I think in the last World Cup, he did a lot of rotation in the final match day. So yeah. Welcome, Dylan. I'm on Wildcard Matchday 3. Let me wait to see what to do. Yeah, I'll be showing you my team shortly, and of course, if you talk to me about your team, then I can give you my opinion. Will you not be playing your Wildcard today? I think I will be, but I'll have to wait and see. And especially if the Italy lineup is kind of what's been rumoured, then I think, yeah, I'm not even going to be fielding 11 players at this point, and that's when I probably need to wildcard to maximise this week. Welcome, FPL Book. Nice to see you again. Yeah, the round of 16, you already have a good team to stand out for. Yeah, that's true. Isaac or Yaremchuk? I prefer Yaremchuk, Dylan. I definitely do. Hi, Yamalenko. Oh, Jesus, I don't want to butcher that name. Yamalenko or Yaremchuk? I prefer... Probably this week I prefer Yaremchuk because there are fewer options up front, especially with all the rotation, so I'd probably go with him. But Yamalenko as an overall asset, I think he's the standout for Ukraine. Then it'll be Yaremchuk, but great assets overall. Are you wildcarding? I probably will be. I'll be talking about that in a second. Ukraine got lucky. I think so, but then again, if they didn't concede a stupid penalty, from a lapse of concentration and their defence, I think they could have gotten a clean sheet. But yeah, is Grealish likely to start? Also, is Mount a good choice? With Mount, I just don't really see too much in terms of fantasy points, so I would probably stay clear from him. I think there are better options around 7 million. I mean, this week I think a standout would be Shaqiri, but yeah, I'd probably avoid Mount. And I think Grealish is likely to start, especially with all the kind of pressure being put on Southgate to play him. And honestly, I think him and Foden should play at the same time, but I don't see it happening. There'll always be a runner like Sancho or Sterling, as well as that creative player like Foden or Grealish, but I think he will start. Are Wijnaldum and Depay being back to start? Well, based on the comments and what Dutch supporters are saying, I think they are both going to be starting. Like I said before, it should be De Roon making way for maybe Gravenberch, and also I think Workhorst making way for Marlon in the starting lineup, because Frank de Boer talked about 2 changes, and I think Wijnaldum and Depay should be fine. Are you going to be going for your final wildcard team? Yes, I definitely will in a second. Don't worry about that. Just trying to catch up. Shaqiri or Yamalenko? I prefer Yamalenko, definitely, if you can afford it. Why would Netherlands play players like Depay and Dumfries? How confirmed is that news? Well, it was in a press conference. That's where Frank de Boer said it. So he said it himself that he's going to be keeping everything the same. Only 2 changes are going to be made to the starting lineup. They're going to be maintaining that 5-3-2. And to be honest, I've seen a lot of Dutch supporters criticising that because they're already qualified. Why not rest some players? You're facing North Macedonia as well. But I think the idea there is to, get some goals, get some confidence, especially in Depay, who's had a bit of an underwhelming tournament so far. And now that his move to Barcelona is confirmed, Frank de Boer even said it himself, he should be completely focused on the Euros now. 2 free transfers. Team is Depay, Lukaku, Kane, Mount, Insigne, Alaba, Bruno, Kjaer, Veindel, Denayer, Hradecky, Pau Torres, Alioski, Nigo. Plan is going Depay and Insigne to Muller and Gnabry. That looks really good. And yeah, Muller's a great differential this week, and I think he is being overlooked. Not have any Germany strikers or midfielders for yourself? I do in my wildcard team, but obviously at the moment, what you see on your screen is just a team with no transfers made so far. If I were to make 2 free transfers, I'd probably move Ronaldo to Muller and Diego Jota to Kevin De Bruyne. That's what I'd probably do. But let me show you my wildcard team at the moment, and I'll be honest, I'm not completely sure about it, and I'll be explaining some of the kind of maybe woke picks you can say, but Unai Simon and Safonov, I think they're 2 of the best goalkeeping options this week. Safonov is only 4 million, and he could keep a clean sheet against Denmark. It's unlikely, but yeah, I think he's just a good budget enabler. And Unai Simon, I think Spain are the most likely team in terms of like the odds and stuff like that of keeping a clean sheet, 60% chance. So you could even double up on their defense. You can have Pau Torres or Jordi Alba and Unai Simon. That's perfectly fine. As for my defence at the moment, I've got Gosens. I think he's a standout, and I even talked about him from Matchday 1. So before his haul against Portugal, I was talking about him for Matchday 3, and to be fair, a lot of people were. It's not like I discovered him. I'm not Christopher Columbus, but Gosens was always earmarked for Matchday 3. He might disappoint. We always have this kind of scenario where someone does really well against a tough team, and then against the team you expect them to do well in, he doesn't. But I think Gosens could be a great shout this week. And yeah, his attacking potential is insane. He won man of the match against Portugal, well deserved, and I think he could be fantastic. Tyrone Mings, I'm not so sure about. It could be Mailer or Pau Torres coming in instead, but England have been one of the best defensive teams so far in this tournament. They've only conceded 1 big chance to Scotland across both games, and Tyrone Mings has been one of the better players for England in this tournament so far. So even if Maguire is back, or if he's starting to be close to full fitness, you would suspect Mings to continue to start, but then again, what might benefit England actually is finishing second in their group. They'll avoid a tougher opponent by finishing first, so you know that's kind of always playing in my mind as well. So I'm not so sure about Mings, but Dumfries, I think he's going to start, and I missed out on Matchday 2. Hopefully he can do really well in Matchday 3, and yeah, his attacking potential is insane. Won the penalty, scored a goal, and yeah, he also scored in the first game against Ukraine. So yeah, Dumfries, a fantastic option. Of course, we know about that. Now, Thomas Meunier, he wasn't one of the players talked about by Roberto Martinez to start. He talked about Vermaelen, Witsel, Eden Hazard and De Bruyne as being nailed to start. Thomas Meunier, that isn't the case, but you have the other options at right wing back. Castaña's out for the tournament, Nasser Chadli and Carrasco. I think they're all going to be rotating with Thorgan Hazard on the left-hand side, but I think Chadli actually has an injury. So you look at the right-hand side, Meunier should be the only one available, and his attacking potential is insane. So still one of the best options this week, and if you're just not sure about it, you could just go for Thomas Vermaelen, 4.5 million, good chance of a clean sheet. Probably not as much attacking potential. Obviously, you remember those days at Arsenal, he actually had great attacking potential at one point. No longer the case, but yeah, you could always go for him instead. And from Italy, if the suspected lineup is going to be announced, I think it's from Sky Italia who reported it, and Di Lorenzo continues to start, I'll just go for him at 5 million. But then again, I'm not so sure. I would really like Toloi to start. I think he's got great attacking potential for Italy, but I'm just not so sure. And I think Spinazzola will be rested today. But of course, we're going to be getting the lineups very soon in half an hour, so stay tuned for that. But very important news to see what happens with the Italian midfielders and defenders and whoever you have, because, yeah, I mean, that will play a big part in who you get in the end. So my midfield, I've got Wijnaldum. I think North Macedonia, if he's going to be playing in this advanced midfield role, even in a 5-3-2, I think Wijnaldum's a standout, and he did let me down in Matchday 2, but I think he can do the business in Matchday 3, and covering, you know, Netherlands with 2 attackers, either Wijnaldum, Malen, Depay, you know, these sorts of players, I think it's well worth it. So yeah, Wijnaldum's a no-brainer. Yamalenko's been one of the best players this tournament, and I just love the positions he gets into, and his record for Ukraine is incredible. I think he's now got 42 goals in 96 games, something crazy like that. So he's really good for Ukraine, and he shows some magic sometimes at West Ham, not on a consistent basis, but yeah, Yamalenko is still a great option. There's also Perisic around the same price, and if you go up a bit more, you could get Kai Havertz, who's going to be a really popular option this week across the community. Then you look at my midfield, I think Gnabry, I know he didn't get any goals or assists so far in this tournament, but he looks so good against Portugal. I think he was one of the best players, and he was unlucky not to get an attack in return. So Gnabry, also 5% ownership. I think he could be a mega differential this week, and he could be explosive. I think he can get a big haul against Hungary. But what I will say about Hungary is that both in the first match day and the second match day, I haven't really been getting too many points when facing Hungary. So, of course, Mbappe blanked against them. So many of the French players did, except for Griezmann, really. And then you look at match day 1, Ronaldo did the business, but Jota blanked, Bruno Fernandes, all these sorts of players blanked. So Hungary aren't that easy, and they're probably a bit better than what we give them credit for, so bear that in mind. But I think having one of Gnabry or Havertz, yeah, definitely I would recommend it. And Berardi, I think he should start, and it could be him and Chiesa, but then again there's also this kind of news about Chiesa being out for the week, and that is obviously going to play a part in our thinking too. But Berardi at 6 million is a no-brainer. He has been since the start of the tournament. As soon as I saw that opportunity, I grasped it, and he's one of the only players who would stay in this wildcard team. Kevin De Bruyne, yeah, I mean, you'd want to have him or Hazard, and if you had to pick one, I think Kevin De Bruyne. He's so good. Eden Hazard is still a bit of a kind of question mark about him, but Kevin De Bruyne, there are no question marks. He's going to start, and he'll probably get a lot of points. And of course, if you saw my live stream, I did have him in my team, but because he was going to be benched and there was a reliable source talking about it, I ended up not going for him. But Kevin De Bruyne is such a good player, and I think he can get a lot of points. As for my attack, I'll be honest, this is the area where I'm least confident in from my whole wildcard draft. But Depay, I think so long as he starts, definitely nailed on, and I think he could be fantastic. And this is where he could get his double-digit haul, and he can get just a lot of goals and assists and start to make a name for himself in this tournament, and build himself up for his move to Barcelona, which has obviously already been confirmed. Batshuayi is an interesting one, and I actually checked his record for Belgium. He's got 22 goals in 34 appearances, and if Lukaku is rested, Batshuayi could be fantastic this week at 6.5 million. But of course, other options include Marlon. You could go for Mbolo if you go up a bit more. Yaremchuk. So there are other options, of course, and obviously Moreno. But Batshuayi, I mean, he's 0% owned. I mean, he could be a fantastic differential, no doubt about it. But of course, if Lukaku does start, then yeah, the Batshuayi kind of gamble isn't going to pay off most likely. And Moreno, he did miss a penalty, but he did win it. Got the assist against Poland, but yeah, Moreno, I still like him, and I think he's a good finisher. And I do back Spain to score at least 2 goals against Slovakia. But then again, you see their expected goals across the whole tournament. It's nearly 6, and they've scored 1 goal across 2 games. So it's really poor finishing. But I do think Moreno's going to start, and him and Morata, they could form a good partnership there, and maybe both of them play better with a strike partner. So I think that could be the way forward for Spain, and Moreno could be a great option this week. But I'll be honest, I'm not completely sure about that, and I might get in Yaremchuk in the end in attack. But I'll be honest, I'm not exactly sure about doubling up on Ukraine attack against Austria, where that's going to be a really tight game and both teams are fighting for qualification. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts about it. Thank you everyone who's still tuning in. Remember to smash the like button and subscribe if you're new, and let me try get through your questions. If I did miss your question from earlier, just repeat it once, but don't spam the chat and constantly ask the same question. I'll try get through every single one of them. It's coming home, says Chris Sandy. I'll be honest, I don't think so, but we'll wait and see. Which 2 Dutch players do you think will be changed against North Macedonia? Yeah, so as I said before in the stream, I think it will be De Roon and Weghorst, and that's what the majority of Netherlands supporters think as well, and it makes complete sense. De Roon is 1 yellow card away from suspension, and Marlon had a great impact in the Austria game, and I think he could replace Weghorst. Thoughts from Ricardo Rodriguez on penalties and set pieces against the Turkey side that have disappointed massively. I think he's a great option this week, but I just don't trust Switzerland enough defensively. So despite how bad Turkey have been, I'm just not that sure. But Mbolo, I think, would be the standout from Switzerland. Then probably Shaqiri and Ricardo Rodriguez. Thoughts on going over Yaremchuk and Yamalenko double up? Yeah, as I just said before, Dylan, I'm not that sure about a double up this week. If it was last week, then yeah, I think it's a great option. But I think this could be a tighter game than what we expect. Why Batshuayi? Well, like I said before, a great record for Belgium, and Lukaku could be rested in this game. But I'll be honest, I'm not completely sure about him. If he starts, I think he'll be really good. But that's the question. Will he start? I couldn't tell you that for sure. Won't Maguire start though? I mean, That's the thing. I'm not sure. It depends on the kind of mindset for England. Would Southgate be content with a draw? Does he want to get Maguire back up to speed now? There's a lot of questions there. So maybe Mings isn't the one to go for. But then again, he's been one of the best players for England across both games. It'd be very harsh to drop him and then suddenly not play him again. But you never know. Vermaelen or Mæhle? I think Mæhle will offer you a higher ceiling, but Vermaelen's more likely to keep the clean sheet. So it's ultimately up to you how you want to play it. I'd probably prefer Vermaelen, but Mæhle has a lot of attacking threat. Against Belgium, he had a great performance. Vertonghen defence for Belgium. Yeah, I think he will start, but from Belgium, you want to have Thomas Meunier, Vermaelen. I think those are the ones you want to go for. Lewandowski, Embolo, Yaremchuk, Carrasco, Ferran Torres, Spinazzola, Pau Torres, Dumfries, Locatelli, KDB, Stecklenburg, Gnabry, De Vrij on the bench, says Ario. That's a good team. I'm not sure if that's a wild card or whatever, but what I would suggest is maybe changing De Vrij to someone else. Especially if you already have Dumfries, but otherwise if it's your normal team, then that's fine. That's a good team anyway. But yeah, I really like that Embolo pick, for example. You've got some great options in there. KDB is a standout, so it looks really good. Mbappe or Ronaldo? That's a good question. I think with the form that's been shown so far, you have to say Ronaldo, but Mbappe you could say is due. But yeah, at the moment I think Ronaldo is the standout. Do you think Havertz would do better than Gnabry? Well, based on what we've seen so far in this tournament, you could say so, and Havertz takes up some very intelligent positions. But what I saw from Gnabry, I really liked in that Matchday 2, and he hasn't scored yet, but I think the goal will come against Hungary, and yeah, he was electric, I think, against Portugal. Yeah, the lineups are out. Okay, fair enough. For Turkey, Switzerland, let me have a look. Thank you for that, Arnab, and who else mentioned it? Let me try to get the chat back up. Yeah, Minimad as well, thank you. Let me check it, and then we'll talk about this lineup. But yeah, Turkey, Switzerland, the only player I really had was Embolo from and Shaqiri, the only ones I've been looking at. So let's see the lineups. If this will load anytime soon. There we go. So Sommer is starting. There was kind of a rumour he might not play because he's expected to be a father very soon. Fabian Schär, Akanji, Elvedi, Mbabu, Xhaka, Freuler, Ricardo Rodriguez, Shaqiri, Embolo, and Okay, you know what? I'll just call him Mario. And as for Turkey, Yilmaz up front, Yashitsi, Tufan, Kalanoglu, Cengiz Ünder, Ayhan, Muldur, Soyuncu, Demiral, Selik, and Sakir in goal. Okay, fair enough. So not too many surprises. I think Yokuslu got benched. He was playing in a defensive midfield role. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty much what we expect from both teams. I'm really interested in the Italy lineup, if I'm being honest. So hopefully we do get an update soon. But I think, yeah, the lineups haven't been announced yet. So we'll have to be waiting there. And when those changes, or when the lineup is confirmed, I'll be making a few modifications to my draft. Lineups are out. Change Berardi for Chiesa, says Mario. Okay, so fair enough. So apparently the lineup is out. I'll be checking that. I'm going to captain Ricardo Rodriguez as a punt. Fair enough, Stephen. Good luck to you. Hopefully that turns out well. And to be fair, it can do. Hey mate, Embolo or Miranchuk? I'd go for Embolo. Limitless chips. If you want to see a Limitless draft, go to my last video, the team selection. I literally talk about the best Limitless team you can make this week. But just to recap, let's say, for example, you have no budget restrictions. What would I change from this team? I'd have Unai Simon and Donnarumma as the keepers. In terms of the defence, I'd have Gosson still. I'd have Dumfries and Meunier. And if Spinazzola is starting, I'll be checking that in a second. I'd put him as well. In the midfield, I have Kevin De Bruyne and Eden Hazard and Gnabry and probably Havertz. And you could maybe go for a Yarmolenko, a Perisic, someone like that to complete your midfield. You could have Depay, Yaremchuk, and yeah, you could go for Thomas Müller up front. It just depends on how many players you have from each team as well. Yeah, the lineups are out. Belotti for Moreno. Yeah, fair enough. I've seen a lot of people going for that. Will Belotti play? Well, the lineups are out. I'll be going through that in a second. Bro Berardi's not in the starting lineup. Fair enough. I'll be talking about that and making modifications. Who should I captain? Belotti or Big Shaq? I'd be a bit tempted by Belotti, but I like Shaqiri too. Yeah, the lineups are out. What's the best three strikers you would use for Limitless? Definitely Depay, I think. Thomas Müller and probably Yaremchuk. That would be a front three I really like. Trying to think, am I missing anyone else? I mean, Batshuayi, if he starts, I really like him, I'll be honest, but we'll wait and see. So let's see. Should I play the wildcard option? It's a team-dependent question ultimately, but if, for example, you have a team similar to mine and you have a lot of doubts about players starting and you're not sure about Jota against France and all this kind of thing, then yeah, I'd probably go for it. And I think Berardi is benched right now, so I'm going to be probably playing my wildcard. So let's see if the lineups is updated. Yeah, I think live score updated now. Donnarumma in goal, Di Lorenzo, Bonucci, Acerbi, Emerson, Barella, Jorginho, Verratti, Chiesa, Belotti and Bernardeschi. Okay, fair enough, that's a good team, and Bernardeschi's another one who can play on the right too, but he's playing on the left apparently. And then for Wales, Ward, Ben Davis, Rodon, Mepham, Roberts, Morrell, Allen, Daniel James, Aaron Ramsey, Bale and more. Okay, fair enough. So the lineups are out and should be a good game. Thank you everyone who obviously pointed out that the lineups are out already. It gives us even more time to make modifications, and I think that news about Berardi not starting is huge, and I definitely have to get rid of him. So I have to make yet another modification to my team. So yeah, we'll have to be going through this, but I'll be honest, I mean, I look at the options around 6 million, I just don't like them. If I could maybe go up to 7 million, I'd look at Shaqiri. But yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not too sure about this. So that news does change things, and I'll be making some adjustments very soon to this team. So let's see what you lot are saying. Dumfries or Gossens, who could possibly score again? Both playing new corners, but tough country. Well, Gossens is more likely to start, but I do expect both of them to play. I think Dumfries has an easier opponent. I think Hungary aren't as bad as North Macedonia. But then again, you look at Germany. I mean, to be fair, defensively, you could arguably say that Netherlands are better. So I think Dumfries is maybe a slightly better option this week if he starts, but both are really good. No need to wildcard, mate. We can use 4 transfers for -8 only. I don't want to take hits, I'll be honest. It's a short tournament, and taking hits when there's only 7 match days, I just don't want to, especially a -8. You will be confused in the 8th quarterfinals, I think you mean. Yeah, I could do. I mean, it's going to make things more difficult and challenging, but I was in a similar position in Champions League Fantasy and I navigated it very well. So it's not always, as difficult as we anticipate. Forza Morata, I think he's a good option this week, and this could be the one where he finally gets some hauls. Of course, he did score the other day against Poland, or should I say yesterday, but yeah, with Morata, he's just such a frustrating player. He can be offside so many times and he missed so many chances. But yeah, I think I'd probably look elsewhere. At 9 million, if you can, maybe Thomas Muller's the one to go for. Put Chiesa in for Berardi. Yeah, I might do that, mate. I might do that. What would you do if you had Limitless now that we had the lineups? Yeah, if I had the Limitless chip, I'd probably look at something like this. Probably the Pai, Imbolo, and I'd probably look at Yaremchuk. Something like that. And if not, if I go for Yamalenko in midfield, then instead of Yaremchuk, you could go for Belotti. Something like that. In the midfield, I'd probably look at Serge Gnabry, Kevin De Bruyne, Hazard, Kai Havertz, and maybe Wijnaldum. Something like that. And the defence, I'd look at Gossens, Dumfries, Thomas Meunier, Di Lorenzo, I'd still go for him probably. And then in goal, Unai Simon and Donnarumma. And as for my last defender spot, I mean, it ultimately depends. But yeah, you could maybe double up on certain teams like Spain. You could have Pau Torres in there, or Jordi Alba, should I say. He's got a lot of attacking potential. He was very unlucky to come up with 2 points yesterday. But yeah, there's a lot of different options you can go for. I think with the defence, you want to be targeting Netherlands this week, Germany, Belgium, England potentially, and Spain. Those are kind of like the top 5 teams. And don't forget the kind of cheaper options like Mailer. He could still do really well, so bear that in mind. And let me actually make these changes now. I might go for Chiesa. He doesn't have an impressive record for Italy. I don't think he's scored, something like that. He's got a very poor record in around 20 appearances, but yeah, Chiesa's going to be coming in. I'm 0.7 million short, so unfortunately it might actually require downgrading the Pai, or maybe Yamalenko or someone like that, but I do want to keep my defence as things stand, to be honest. I really like the defence, but unfortunately you can't have everyone you want. So yeah, the kind of big question here is, who do I downgrade to make up that 0.7 million? And am I that confident in Batshuayi starting and Moreno? I'll be honest, I'm not that sure. So what I might do is change Moreno to Yaremchuk and have a punt on Batshuayi starting. That's what I might actually end up doing. I think the fact that Martinez didn't actually say Lukaku's going to start, and he's seemed a bit conflicted about it, I think he might rest Lukaku. But then again, Lukaku's fighting for the golden boot. He might push to start. So there's a lot of different ways to go about it. So I'm 1.3 million off if I make that change and get Yaremchuk in and get Chiesa. So yeah, I have to find that 1.3 million from somewhere. I could go Yamalenko to Shaqiri and cover Mbola in Switzerland in that way. So there's different ways I can go about it. I wouldn't want to have Yaremchuk and Yamalenko, to be honest. Depay or Marlon? I think Depay. If he starts, Depay is the one you want to have, I think. Di Lorenzo's not starting. Take him out. Yeah, let me check that once again. Thank you for that. Lineup. I don't know why the lineup's just changed again. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for that. Toloi is starting. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. So I think the lineup I read from LiveScore, unfortunately, was wrong. Oh dear. Sometimes LiveScore can be a bit frustrating. Let me check SofaScore as well, but thank you for that. And yeah, always good to double check these sorts of things. So I'm going to check SofaScore. I think this lineup should be legit. I've checked the last updated as well. So lineups. Yeah, it looks like Toloi is starting. I really like him as a pick this week. Yeah, I'm definitely going for him. And yeah, this was ideal. He's only 4.5 million. He got an assist when he came on against Switzerland. Yeah, I really like Toloi. And he is starting 4.5 million. Jesus, that's a good price for him. Very good price. So yeah, let me know, guys. What do you think? Guys and girls, who would you downgrade to make up that extra 0.8 million in order to obviously be able to make this team? Because I do like this team and I think it's worth the wild card. But I mean, what can we do? I think Yarmolenko is probably the one I'd have to downgrade, or if not, Yaremchuk to Marlon potentially, and maybe Wijnaldum changes or something like that. But yeah, thank you for that. Bastoni is starting as well, another one at 4.5 million. A lot of changes in there. Emerson's playing. Bonucci, Jorginho, Chiesa, Verratti, Belotti, Bernardeschi, Pessina is starting. Okay, so fair enough. So a few things were wrong from that live score one. Play Bastoni. Yeah, I could go for Bastoni, but I think Toloi, I think he's got a bit more attacking potential. That's just the way I see it, but maybe Bastoni's a good option too. Yaremchuk or Yarmolenko then? Well, I think Yaremchuk is a better option because there are fewer ones up front and he's just so cheap. But if you're just comparing head to head, who is better? I think Yarmolenko. That's what I personally think. Is this your final team? Well, I'm still finalising some things, and the fact that Berardi isn't starting, that changes things for me. So that's why I've got Chiesa in now, and that's why I'm trying to find that extra 0.8 million to be able to finalise this team, because obviously I can't make the changes right now. Would you choose Meunier or who's that? Anita? Yeah, I'd definitely go for Meunier. Yeah, apologies if I don't know that other guy. Should I use it? The Limitless. I probably would use it now, yeah. I'd use the Limitless now and use your wildcard in the knockout stages. Yarmolenko versus KDB, I'd go for KDB, no doubt about it this week. Müller for Depay, yeah, maybe. I might go for him, that's true. That's something that I could do. And then maybe I can go Batshuayi to Marlon, and I do think Marlon will start. But then again, I could be wrong about that. What would your team be if you had Limitless? I literally talked about that a few minutes ago. So I would have Depay, probably Mbolo, and maybe Yaremchuk or Müller up front. And then in midfield, I'd have Serge Gnabry. If you don't go for Müller up front, I'd probably go for Havertz in midfield too. Kevin De Bruyne and Hazard. And I'd probably be looking at someone like Wijnaldum, Yarmolenko, Perisic in the midfield. In the defence, Gossens, Dumfries, Thomas Meunier. I'd still go for an Italian defender. And in terms of goalkeepers, I'd go for Unai Simon and Donnarumma. And in terms of other defenders, you can go for Jordi Alba's still a really good option. Tyrone Mings, John Stones. So there's definitely a lot of ways you can go about it. Bastoni or Toloi? I just have a good feeling about Toloi, and it's not just because he got an assist the other day, it's just the position he plays in, so I think Toloi could be a good one. Are you wildcarding? I probably will be, yes. Lukaku probably will start as he's going for the golden boot. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. If I wildcard and I get rid of Lukaku and Depay, I could be in trouble because I think both of them could score big this week, and of course I don't want to go without Lukaku if he starts. So it's a big kind of, it's a bit of a shame. But what I'm going to be doing actually, so I've got this wildcard team kind of saved. So yeah, let's save this wildcard team. But I'm going to make 2 free transfers just in case I decide not to wildcard. Because I'll be honest, I'm not completely sure about it. But for example, you look at Insigne and Berardi, they're both bench. So I'm just not going to be able to field 11 players. So I think it's just going to be likely that I'm going to be I'm going to be wildcarding, to be honest. But I might make 2 free transfers just in case before I actually make the changes. What about Mbolo? I think he's a good option this week, but you can't have everyone. And if, in my case anyway, I want to spend a lot of money in my midfield, so I'm not able to afford him. Downgrade Wijnaldum to someone cheaper? I might do that, to be honest, I might do that. Maybe Wijnaldum to Shaqiri, for example. Is Meunier confirmed will be playing? He isn't. So Roberto Martinez confirmed 4 players will play. Thomas Vermaelen, Witsel, Hazard, and Kevin De Bruyne. But because Castagna's out for the rest of the tournament, Chadley's got injury problems, and I think Carrasco is going to be fighting with Thorgan Hazard for the other wing-back spot. I think Thomas Meunier should be fine at right wing-back, and he will start. But that's just my opinion. Anita is a really good left-back, fair enough, but I'd still go for Thomas Meunier, in my opinion. Hey Dylan, using Limitless to Pai and Bola and Ronaldo, what do you think? I really like that. Never underestimate Ronaldo, but maybe you could go for Thomas Müller. You could go for, maybe Lukaku if you back him to start. Batshuayi, Gerardo Moreno. There's different ways to go about it. Who would you choose, Yaremchuk or Kramaric? I'd go for Yaremchuk. I think Arnautovic might be a good shout. The game will be very open. Yeah, I think he's a good option too, actually. From Austria, he's the one to go for, I'd say. I'm trying to think of someone else. Yeah, I think he's the one to go for. I've downgraded the Pai for Weghorst to spread the cash around. Up front, I'm going with Yaremchuk, Müller and Weghorst. Yeah, fair enough. Just in case, Stephen, he might not actually play Weghorst. He might be the one to make way for Marlon, and then the other change could be De Roon making way for Gravenberch. So just bear that in mind. There's two 4.5 million Italy defenders double up. To be honest, that's a good shout. That might actually be a really good idea. Instead of having Donnarumma, you can, especially on a wild card, you can go for double defense. Toloi and Bastoni sounds exceptional, to be honest. So I think that's a good choice actually. Turkey will upset Switzerland. They could, to be fair, but Turkey have been so disappointing. I thought they'd finish second before the tournament started, and just since the second half of the Italy game, it became apparent that they just are not going to live up to the hype, really. Take out Meunier and include budget clean sheet defenders, should be able to cover 0.8. Yeah, fair enough. That's something I might do. For example, Thomas Meunier to Vermaelen, who's confirmed to start, and it'd be a big shame if, for example, Roberto Martinez goes for Thorgan Hazard on the left and maybe Carrasco on the right, something like that, and Meunier's benched. Soyuncu for Mings, I wouldn't go for that personally. Chiesa or Shaqiri, I'd probably say at least basically mix both names. Chiesa, but Shaqiri is the talisman for Switzerland. Him and Mbola would do something. If Switzerland turn up. Toloi or Bonucci, I prefer Toloi. Dumfries or Veindel. Before today, I would have said Veindel for today. I think I would have expected him to start, but I think Dumfries will start, and if he does, he's just a better option. You sure Dumfries is starting? I'm not sure, mate. It's just kind of a gut feeling. Frank de Boer said 2 changes will be made to the starting lineup, and I think, and so do a lot of Netherlands supporters, that Weghorst and De Roon will be making way in the starting lineup, and I think it makes perfect sense. Perisic or Wijnaldum? I think I'll go for Wijnaldum because of the opponent and because Perisic is playing in a team that's just not really up to their best, and they're not showing too much attacking flair. And it could be a really tight game there. Scotland defended so well against England. They deserved a draw and maybe even a win. So it's not going to be that easy, I think. Gnabry to Havertz. Yeah, fair enough. I might do that as well. But I really like Gnabry this week. I don't want to go without him. Marlon or Depay? I think Depay. But then again, there is a risk of him being dropped. And I think Marlon, then again, who knows who's going to start? Is it going to be both of them up front? Will Weghorst take one of their places? What's going to happen? There's so many questions, so few answers. But I probably would say Depay. Eden Hazard will start, yes. So just to clarify and just to reiterate, Roberto Martinez in his press conference, the Belgian manager, he said that 4 players will definitely start. Thomas Vermaelen, Eden Hazard, Kevin De Bruyne and Axel Witsel. So just bear that in mind. Chiesa probably won't start. The lineups are out, mate, and Chiesa is starting. Should we be expecting a clean sheet from Italy with so many changes to the team against a relatively strong Wales side with an informed Bale? Yeah, I don't think it's as nailed. If there is ever a chance that Italy don't keep a clean sheet, it will be now because of so much rotation and some key figures in there like Spinazzola aren't playing. So you have a very good point there. I could see a 2-1 or a 3-1 for Italy, and I can see Wales nicking something. Ricardo Rodriguez captain, I think why not? When you have this opportunity to captain players on different days, you can always take these punts like I did with Gareth Bale last week. So yeah, I definitely recommend that. Chiesa, Morata or Havertz and Marlon? I prefer Havertz and Marlon, mate. Yeah, lineups are out. Yeah, I've checked the lineups. Thank you for that. Moreno, a good shout for 6 million. Yeah, I think he is. Reece James for Mings. I would stay clear of English fullbacks because there's so much rotation. 1 week it could be Reece James, the other could be Kyle Walker, and if not, it could be Kieran Trippier on the left. Could be Ben Chilwell, could be Trippier, could be Shaw. So it's just too much headache, I think. I've got 7.6 million. Should I bring in Forsberg? I think he's a good option, but there are better on paper anyway. So I'm not so sure about Forsberg. Batshuayi or Marlon? Tough one. I think if Batshuayi starts, I'd prefer him, but otherwise, I think Marlon's a bit more likely to start. If Hazard starts, he will most likely play left wing and Carrasco on the right. Meunier will most likely be rested because he is too important now that Castaña's out. Maybe. And Thomas Meunier is injury prone. So that's a good point you make there. Oh yeah, De Jong. That's a good point you make, Gustavo. De Jong's another one who could also play up front. So yeah, who knows? Could Hungary upset Germany? I think they could. Maybe hold them to a draw. Maybe even nick a win. But I still expect Germany to win this game, but it won't be a thrashing, I think. So it's not like, oh, get Thomas Müller, Gnabry and Havertz. Otherwise, you're going to fail this week. De Bruyne is not in good shape. Well, I mean, he's not in good shape. Yeah, he got 10 points in 45 minutes. And yeah, he was losing the ball a lot towards the end. But this is why he's playing today, for sure. Or should I say this week, because they're building up his fitness. Same with Eden Hazard. And if Belgium can get them two fully fit and firing, they have a great chance of winning the tournament. Why don't you go for Perisic? Like I already described before, hopefully you get this answer now. Croatia just don't impress me. And even though Perisic scored in his last game week, I'm just not that confident in Croatia. And Scotland defended so well against England, they can do the same thing against Croatia. I could see a tight game there, and it might be very limited in terms of points potential. Best Italian defender, I think Toloi. No doubt about it for me, I think it's Toloi. I might be wrong about that though. Lukaku or Hazard? If Lukaku starts, I prefer him. Otherwise, I think just go for Hazard because he's definitely going to be playing. Is Depay starting? Nothing confirmed. Look, this is what I mean. So there are going to be 2 changes in Netherlands starting lineup, but they're not confirmed. What I think is going to happen, and this might be wrong, is De Roon and Workhorst making way for Gravenberch and potentially Marlon. So I think Depay will start, same with Dumfries, Wijnaldum and all these sorts of players. So just bear that in mind. Wildcard or Limitless or not at all? I would use the Limitless. If you had both of them, I'd use it. And thank you, 310 people watching. It's crazy. It's the most we've ever had in a stream. Keep the comments going, smash the like button, and I'll try to get through your questions. Kai or Gnabry? I prefer Gnabry just from what I saw on the eye test, but Havertz gets into better positions in the box, I think. But Gnabry takes so many penalty area touches. He's just so electric the way he takes on players. He can get goals and assists. And his record for Germany, he's got 16 goals in 24 appearances. I think Havertz only has 4 goals, including the one from yesterday. So just bear that in mind. I prefer Gnabry. Braithwaite or Isaac? Yeah, fair enough. Braithwaite's someone I haven't talked about. He could be really good. Same with Poulsen. But I prefer Isaac, I think. What's your opinion on Shaqiri? I think he's one of the best options this week, along with Mbolo and Ricardo Rodriguez in terms of from Switzerland assets. But yeah, Shaqiri's a good option, no doubt about it. Percentage that Batshuayi starts, I'll be honest, it's probably like it's a 50-50, I think. I think he's ahead of the pecking order, when you compare him to Benteke, but will Lukaku be rested? I mean, you just don't know, but Batshuayi could be great cover otherwise. Yeah, De Jong for who? I mean, I don't know what you're on about in terms of De Jong for who. Why do you think only 2 rotate from Holland? Because Frank de Boer, the Netherlands manager, he said it in a press conference. He said, we're making 2 changes. The rest is going to stay the exact same. We're playing a 5-3-2. I'm not telling you what the 2 names are going to be. So that's why I keep on talking about this 2 names business. It's not literally just me making it up or finding an unreliable source. Why is Toloi and Sofanov not in the starting lineup as they play first? Well, I haven't made the changes yet. So once I confirm these transfers, I will obviously sort out the bench. So don't worry about that. But obviously, thanks for the concern. Dani Olmo is good. I think he's decent, but there's better options, I think, around 7 million. Shaqiri. I'd stay away from Olmo personally. And if you want a Spanish attacker, you could go for Morata, Ferran Torres, or Gerardo Moreno. Thoughts on Schick? I mean, he's been one of the best players this tournament, but I think it could be a 0-0 or 1-1 against England. What about Ronaldo or Immobile? Immobile's not starting, mate, so don't go for him. You could go for Belotti, though. He's starting. And Ronaldo, never doubt him, but he's facing France, a very good team defensively, so I'm not so sure. Kimmich is a midfielder, only 6 million and got 2 assists versus Portugal. Yeah, and I think he was in my first draft, but just not so sure. But yeah, fair enough. That's a good point. Kimmich he's so good going forward. If I use wildcard this match day, can I reset it and use Limitless? No. Once you activate the wildcard and you save the changes, same with the Limitless, you can't revert it. Same with FPL really and Champions League Fantasy. Your thoughts on Belotti? He's one of the best options this week, no doubt about it. So he could do really well this week. Toloi or Emerson? I prefer Toloi. Good defender for 6.6 million. Dumfries, Thomas Meunier, Gossens, Toloi. There's a lot of options there. So yeah, definitely go for one of them. If not, Jordi Alba. Depay or Belotti? I prefer Depay if he starts. Ricky says, rate my team: Donnarumma, Gossens, Pau Torres, Dumfries, KDB, Chiesa, Yamalenko, Ronaldo, Lukaku, Yaremchuk. I really like that. I'd just be wary about Lukaku. I'm not sure if he's going to start. And Ronaldo, you could maybe invest that money elsewhere. But then again, he's been one of the best players this tournament. But really good team overall. I already answered that question, Pietro. Same name as One Division's brother, huh? Belotti or Marlon? I'd probably prefer Marlon if he starts, but Belotti's definitely starting, so you've got that guarantee there already. I've got 7.6 million. Who should I get in midfield? Probably I'd be looking at Shaqiri, Chiesa. 7.6 million. It's a difficult price bracket, to be honest. Forsberg is still an option, but I'm not so sure about him. Malinovsky, don't just forget him because he's missed a penalty. He's still a good option. What about Lukaku? Well, like I said before, he might not start. And that's why it's a 50-50 decision. Of course, things are hectic at the moment. Why Thomas Meunier? Because Castagne's out. Chadley, another one who can play right wing back, he's injured. And then you have Carrasco. He tends to play on the left-hand side as a left wing back, and he's facing Thorgan Hazard. But then again, Thomas Meunier could be benched. And to be honest, I need to make money in my team now and be able to kind of facilitate these moves. I'm 0.8 million away from it being able to finalise this. So Thomas Meunier might make way, to be honest. Yarmolenko and Yaremchuk, I'm just not so sure, if I'm being honest. So what I might end up doing, this is a tough one, it's really tough. I don't like getting rid of Yarmolenko either. Oh my god. I mean, this is what I mean. Once again, we've got panic, just like in Matchday 2. It's important to stay calm. So I'm going to check the Italy lineup one more time and make sure. I mean, Belotti could be an interesting punt. So Italy are playing Toloi as a right back, and he played so well when he came on against Switzerland. Bonucci, Bastoni, Palmieri, Emerson, Donnarumma is in goal. Pessina, Jorginho, Verratti, Belotti, Chiesa, and Bernardeschi. It's an interesting lineup there. I don't know about Chiesa, to be honest. I mean, I really liked him. I had him in my first draft, but looking at his Italy record, just not so sure about him. And he's 8% owned. You could maybe go for Shaqiri instead, and I might do that myself. But yeah, at least Chiesa definitely starts. It's a tough one. Very tough things to think about here. I would want to have Belgium cover in defence. I think they have a good chance of a clean sheet, so I might go for Thomas Vermaelen. He's 5 million. I thought he'd be 4.5. Well, Thomas Vermaelen is definitely starting. 5 million though for someone who might not even score, and he's capped really at 6 points. It's an interesting one. Not so sure about that one, Chief. I mean, what I could do actually is double up on Spain. It's a bit risky, but they're the most likely team according to the odds to keep a clean sheet. So Pau Torres and Unai Simon, and I'll have enough money to make these moves. Yarmolenko though, it's tough. Batshuayi, I'm just not so sure if he's going to start. Chiesa, Shaqiri. Tough questions, aren't they? And I think Wales, you know what? When I look at it, I think Wales are going to be a tougher opposition for Italy than maybe the first two match days, especially with all this rotation. And then you look at Mancini's comments comparing them to Stoke. I mean, that's interesting, isn't it? Is Chiesa worth to buy? I think he's a good option. And 7 million, you're kind of limited with what you have. But you could go for Shaqiri, Malinovsky. He's not the only one there. Will Meunier start? I mean, this is what as I keep on saying, I think he's going to start, but he's not completely nailed. Roberto Martinez only mentioned 4 players who are definitely going to start for Belgium, and Thomas Meunier wasn't one of them. Same with Lukaku. That's why I'm kind of steering away from them at the moment. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Gnabry, Chiesa, De Bruyne. Jesus Christ. I literally, what I did was, before the live stream even happened, I was sorting out my team, and I was like, you know what, I'm fairly settled on this, but you know, there's always kind of like a catch or something that happens. Berardi was expected to start today, but it makes sense why he isn't, and that changes the complexion. That extra million on Chiesa or Shaqiri or whoever, it does change things, and you have to find money elsewhere. Lewandowski or Morata? I'd go for Morata this week. Best keepers on Limitless? Definitely Donnarumma and Unai Simon. Don't overcomplicate it. What do you think of Stones? He's a good option. He's nailed. I would prefer him over the England fullbacks, but you could also go for Tyrone Mings if you back him to start. Alba or Stones? I'd go for Jordi Alba. Higher upside, I think, and he should start. I have 18.7 million. I need an attacker and a midfielder. I mean, I don't know who you have, Gustavo. Yeah, no need to spam the chat, otherwise I won't be answering your question. Best goalkeepers to choose: Unai Simon, Donnarumma, probably Stecklenburg, but it could be Tim Krul coming in. He could actually be one of the choices coming in, one of the changes, should I say. Isaac or Mbolo? I prefer Mbolo, Daniel. Mbolo or Moreno? Yeah, I mean, if you have enough money, I'd probably go for Mbolo, but Moreno's a good option this week. How to change formation? Just make substitutions, mate. That's how you change it. I can't change my formation right now because I haven't made the changes so far. Belotti or Mbolo? Tough one. I'd probably go for Mbolo, but it's really tough. Will Meunier start? I think he will, but he's not nailed. Moreno, good option? Definitely. I think he's a good option, no doubt about it. Kramaric? Yeah, fair enough. I haven't really talked about him throughout the whole tournament, but from Croatia, I think Perisic is the only one I'd be looking at, and I think there are other options up front compared to Kramaric. Mbolo or Belotti? I'd probably go for, Mbolo just about, but Belotti could do really well today. No need to repeat the question, mate. In terms of changing formation, you make substitutions. So, look, for example, you look here, you bring on Pau Torres. Well, if it lets me, this website's crashing right now, it seems. Yeah, sub in. And then look, let's say for example, Lukaku out. So from a 4-3-3 to a 4-4-2. Or it's Pau Torres actually, where is it? Ferran Torres. So yeah, there you go. From a 4-3-3 to a 4-4-2, making substitutions changes your formation. That's literally about it. There's not much more to it. But yeah. Sommer? Nah, I wouldn't go for him this week. You could downgrade Wijnaldum. I could, to be fair, and he did let me down last week. Best cheapest keeper, I think Safanov at 4 million, and he's better than Hradeski this week who plays Belgium. I think Safanov is your best bet, and if not, if you want to take a big gamble on the goalkeeper situation in the Netherlands, Tim Krul or Stecklenburg, whoever starts there, great option to keep a clean sheet. Which four will start for Belgium? Okay, so just to repeat myself, Witsel, Vermaelen, Eden Hazard and De Bruyne. They're all starting, no doubt about it, unless Martinez is a troll. That's what he said in the press conference. Nothing else is confirmed. Damsgaard, not for me, mate, not for me. Who's a good defender for 5 million? I think Toloi. I think Bastoni, Pau Torres, Tyrone Mings, Gossens. I think Gossens is the standout at 5 million, by the way. But yeah, there's plenty of options. Mbolo or Kane? I think everyone's obviously been put off Kane because of his performances so far in this tournament, but he's still a good option and he could come good in this final match day. But I'd go for Mbolo this week out of those two. Two strikers with 19. I have Belotti already with 19 million. Maybe Depay and Müller. That's what I'd probably say. But yeah. Eden Hazard, Marlon, Havertz or Perisic, Depay, Kimmich? Good question. Very good question. I'd probably go for Perisic, Depay, Kimmich, but that's really tough. Yeah, Ricky, no need to spam the chat. I already answered that question. Best team for Limitless. I already went over this before, 3 times I think. But look, Depay, Thomas Müller, for example, Mbolo up front, and if not, Yaremchuk, Gerard Moreno. You could go for these sorts of players. Lukaku, if you back him to start, but that's a big if. In terms of midfielders, Gnabry, Havertz, De Bruyne, Eden Hazard. And if you want to maybe not go for double German attack, or in terms of the midfield, you could go for Wijnaldum, Yamalenko, Perisic, all these sorts of players. Jack Grealish if you want to take a punt. In terms of the defence, Gossens, Jordi Alba, Dumfries, voice crack, Thomas Meunier, Toloi, Bastoni, Tyrone Mings. There's a lot of options. And in goal, Donnarumma and Simon. I think they're the standouts. You don't want to overcomplicate that situation. Best midfielder for 7.4. Probably Shaqiri or Chiesa, I think. Yeah, I already talked about best players to select on a Limitless. Hopefully you caught that. Is Belotti starting? He is starting. Check the lineups on SofaScore, LiveScore or Google. The lineup is out. Yeah, the site is crashing. Yeah, it is. So it's really important to get things done. Perisic or Shaqiri? No need to spam the chat. I would probably say if you have enough money, maybe Perisic. But yeah, no, don't spam the chat. Otherwise your question won't be answered in the future. Paulson or Schick? I prefer Schick because of what he's shown so far, but he's facing England and I don't expect too much joy for either team. I could see a really tight game. It could be 1 goal in it. It could even be a 0-0 draw. So who knows about that. I'm using Lewandowski, Morata and Belotti. How can I upgrade? Is Yamalenko going to flop this match day? I mean, I wish I could tell you that for sure, but I have a feeling this could be the week that Yamalenko blanks. So that's why I might get rid of him myself, if I'm being honest. Give me an idea for forwards for today's other than Mbolo. Definitely Belotti then. 8 million. I'd go for him. Best 5 million midfielder? I mean, probably Marcos Llorente. I don't like the midfielders at 6 million, let alone 5 million. And same thing stands here. Paulson or Schick? Yeah, I already answered your question, Arshin, but hopefully the chat can also help you there. I don't catch Limitless. What are the best players? So up front, I'd say Depay, Müller, Mbolo. And if not, you could replace Müller, for example, with Belotti, Yaremchuk, Batshuayi, and if you back Lukaku to start, for example, I'd definitely go for him. Your midfield, Eden Hazard, De Bruyne, Gnabry. If not Havertz, you could go for Yamalenko. If not, maybe Perisic, Wijnaldum. There's a lot of options there. Ferran Torres is still a good option. In the defence, Gosens, Thomas Meunier, Jordi Alba, Toloi, Dumfries, Bastoni. And by the way, I'm mentioning more players than obviously you can get because I'm giving you more options, and then it's up to you who you pick. Tyrone Mings is a good option this week, John Stones, and goalkeepers Unai Simon and Donnarumma. Is this your final team selection? Well, I'm trying to finalise it, but I'll be honest, I'm kind of struggling at the moment to kind of make sense of this whole situation because, yeah, it's going to be tough. Where will Alaba play on the pitch? Centre-back or wing-back? I think he's going to play wing-back, but he can play centre-back as well sometimes and in central midfield. He's a very versatile player, but that's a good question there. Are you sure of Chiesa? No, I'll be honest, Andrew, I'm not. And I don't like the options around 7 million, but it's what we're dealt with. Berardi isn't starting. If he was starting, then yeah, I'd just be confident in him. I think he's a better option than Chiesa, but he's not. So that's how I look at it. Let's see. So I'm going to be making some adjustments. I don't want to have Shaqiri and Chiesa. I just want to have one of them, to be honest. This is tough, really tough. So Yaremchuk, I think I would go for. Maybe what I might do is Yamalenko. Oh Jesus, yeah, this site is definitely crashing. It's so laggy at the moment. So yeah, definitely try to get your teams done ASAP because yeah, this is not going to be good if you leave it for the last minute or so. So I think I want to have triple Netherlands, or if not, at least two. And arguably Wijnaldum, Dumfries and Depay are the best ones you can go for. If not Marlon, he's a really good one. Batshuayi, I mean, it's just, do I think he's going to start? I think I might just take a risk on him. I think the point of this wildcard is to take risks, some big differentials, and if Batshuayi does really well, yeah, I mean, you're laughing really. So I might actually stick with him, even though it does seem a bit weird. So I've got 8.8 million. Oh my god, I'm 0.2 off from Havertz, and I wouldn't mind having him, to be honest. That is a tough one. Affordable, let's see, who could we actually go for? Yamalenko, of course, who I did have, but I wouldn't advocate a double up on Ukraine attack against Austria. I don't think it's really that sort of game. It could be really tight, and you'd probably want to have one attacker. Arnautovic is also a good option from that game. I wouldn't really look at the other Austrian options, if I'm being honest, and in terms of Ukraine defenders, I'd stay clear, even Zinchenko, to be fair. I think the defence is going to stay like this. Pau Torres, Toloi, Dumfries, Tyrone Mings, Gosens. I would love to have Thomas Meunier, but I'm just not exactly sure if he's going to start. But to be fair, they could keep a clean sheet against Finland, and if Thomas Meunier does start, I think he's in for a big haul. Gnabry, Chiesa, Jesus, my God! Just I hope this ends up better than what happened with the Limitless with my last minute decisions there. But yeah, Perisic, I mean, he's always an interesting option, but Scotland, I mean, I don't know. I had double England attackers against Scotland, and they defended really well. Kimmich, I mean, fair enough. He's a good option. He's been pointed out before. 2 assists. If he was a defender, Kimmich would be so good, wouldn't he? Oh my God. Against Hungary, Joshua Kimmich. You know what? I'll be looking at Joshua Kimmich then. Let's see how could we actually play around with this sort of money. That's an interesting one. So Gnabry, Gosens, Kimmich. I couldn't go for Muller in the attack. I could actually go for Hazard. Wijnaldum could go to Hazard with this sort of money. But I'm just not so sure about Kimmich, to be honest. But yeah, I'll be finalising my team very soon. And as soon as that's done, I'll be going through all your questions and making sure that, that we just get all this done. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Dumfries. Yeah, I think what I might be doing, I think I'm going to be going all out on Germany. So I'm not going to go for Kimmich. I think I'll be going for Havertz. Depay. I really like Depay this week, but I'm just not sure. I think the 2 changes that are going to be made for the Netherlands, I think Marlon's going to come in, and also Gravenberch. I think they're going to be coming in. I really want Depay this week, but unfortunately, I just don't know if I can, if I'm being honest. I think what I might do is, instead of Batshuayi, I might go for Marlon. But that means getting rid of Wijnaldum. So I'm going to double up on Netherlands attack. It's very risky, of course. I know that. But this is what I might end up going for. What's his ownership? 2%. Okay, still a big differential. I like that. Let's see. In terms of the midfield, how much money do we have? 8.3 million. Toloi, Pau Torres, Tyrone Mings. Jesus Christ. Oh, this is actually really difficult. Apologies for this. I'll be getting this done soon, don't you worry. I think Gossens, Dumfries, Toloi, Pau Torres, maybe Tyrone Mings might make way. Or no, I've already got Unai Simon. I think I want a bit more coverage overall. I want Belgium coverage in defence. I think I'm going to be going for Thomas Meunier. It's a big risk, of course, but I did have him originally. Just not so sure about him. 7.2 million now to spend on a midfielder. I might actually go for Shaqiri in the end. But I'm not sure about him. I'll be honest, I'm not sure. But him or Mbolo, I think one of them will do well today. I just couldn't tell you who. I wish I could tell the future. I'm not sure about Chiesa. But let me know what you think of this draft. I've made a few changes here, but really I've kept things as they were before. So Thomas Meunier's back, Kai Havertz and Gnabry is something I am interested in, but doubling up on Germany midfield and then doubling up on Netherlands attack, it is a bit risky. So not so sure about that. Thomas Müller I think is being overlooked this week. Depay, man, I think he could do really well this week. I don't want to get rid of him, but might be necessary. Mbolo or Belotti, I would probably say, Mbolo just about, but Belotti does play in a better team, but I just think Turkey is a better opposition to target than Wales. Yamalenko or Perisic, I prefer Yamalenko. Force on Damsgaard, not for me. I wouldn't go for him myself, but he's still a decent differential. But honestly, I just never really have thought of him as an asset for my own team, so I'm not going to be recommending him, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't go for him. Sometimes it's good to be different. Is Kane a good option? He still is. I think people are just overruling him, but yeah, Kane is a good option always. But 11.5 million, he just hasn't delivered so far. You need more. Yeah, I already answered that question, Erin. I went with Yamalenko. No need to spam the chat. Force on picking Sterling. I'll be honest. I've picked Sterling 3 times across 3 different fantasy games this year. FPL, UCL Fantasy, and Euro Fantasy. He's always blanked. I think Sterling is a good option, and he's got a great record for England. 13 goals in his last 18 games now. But I don't know. I'd probably stay clear myself now, and I'm not going for him again. I would go for Müller, Gossens and Gnabry for Germany coverage. Yeah, fair enough. And I might actually do that instead. And that would open the door for maybe Havertz to someone else. I mean, what would be ideal is if I could do Depay to Müller, and then I could do Havertz to Hazard. And you know what? Actually, that might be possible. Oh yeah, I've got too many German players, don't I? Yeah, let's get rid of Havertz. So let's go Müller. And then I've got Hazard. This is looking very interesting now. Double Belgium midfield is a bit risky, you could say, but that looks pretty good to be fair. Minus 52 points, imagine that, Jesus Christ. But yeah, Thomas Müller, Marlon and Yaremchuk up front. Gnabry, Chiesa, De Bruyne. It's just Chiesa and Shaqiri. Jesus, man, I don't like that. I just want to have one of them, if I'm being honest. I don't want to have both of them. But that's going to be an interesting one. Belotti and Mbolo or Müller. I think if budget isn't a problem, then Müller would be my standout pick because of the fixture and how good Germany are. But you could always go for Gnabry, for Havertz, for Gossens. There are other ways into that Germany team. So maybe Mbolo, I'd say. Perisic or Yamalenko? Yamalenko for me, mate. Force on Gareth Bale and Mbappe? Not this week. I think Bale's facing a good Italy team. To be fair, they are rotating, so he could do something, and he's... you saw his performance the other day. Mbappe up against Portugal. I think Portugal will be parking the bus, but if Mbappe's up against Semedo, then yeah, of course, that he's a great option suddenly. What about Schick? Yeah, Schick is a good option, but I already talked about my feelings about that game, England versus Czech Republic. I can see a low-scoring game there, so I'm not so sure about him or any attacking assets. Do you rate Toby Alderweireld will start for Belgium? This is the thing. They have Boyata, they have Denayer, they have Thomas Vermaelen, who's definitely starting, and they have Jan Vertonghen. Wait, did I say him already? My bad if I'm repeating myself, but I'm not so sure with Alderweireld, and I don't think there's enough upside. You'd probably just want to go for Meunier or Vermaelen. So Meunier, if he starts, will be doing really well. He's got a lot of upside, and Thomas Vermaelen's definitely starting, and he's 5 million, so that's who I'd go for. What do you think about Bonucci? I'd just go for Toloi or Bastoni. Denier or Boyata? I just go for Vermaelen, honestly, because he's definitely starting. I don't know who's going to start between those two, you said. Best Spanish defender, Jordi Alba if you have enough money. Otherwise, Pau Torres. Kimmich, he's a good option, 6 million. He got 2 assists, and he's actually gotten a lot of assists across the whole calendar year. In 2020, he had more assists than Bruno, but yeah, I don't know about Kimmich. I have Moreno. Should I switch to Marlon? If this is a free transfer, then maybe you could just use your free transfer elsewhere. But otherwise, yeah, I think Marlon has a big upside today, or should I say this week. Is Batshuayi nailed? He isn't. Otherwise, he'd be in my team probably. Get Hazard. Yeah, I might do, mate. I might. Wijnaldum, Forsberg or Yamalenko. Already have Yaremchuk, Walker or Wijndal. Will Mings play? I think Mings will play, but it's not completely certain. And as for Walker or Wijndal, I'd probably say... I mean, from England, I'd go for either Mings or John Stones. I don't know about Walker. It could be Reece James. Wijndal, I don't think he's going to start based on Frank de Boer's comments. And as for Wijnaldum, Forsberg or Yarmolenko, I'd probably go for Wijnaldum, and if not, Yarmolenko. Because you already have Yaremchuk, I think that makes me ease towards or lean towards Wijnaldum. Arnautovic, good option this week, but I'm not going there personally. Jorginho or Kimmich, I prefer Kimmich. Morata, good option this week, but once again, I'm just looking elsewhere, and I'd probably look at Moreno for, he's cheaper, he's on penalties, maybe not anymore, but I'd probably look towards him. I have Donnarumma in goal and Courtois sub. Should I swap? Now, if Courtois is on your bench, don't bring him on. No, just play Donnarumma. Only if Donnarumma blanks, and by the time you get to the Belgium game, then sub Donnarumma out. But there's no need to sub him out. Unless you're talking about transferring out, but I'd rather have Donnarumma over Courtois. Gnabry over Havertz, there is an argument over that, and I just really like what I saw with Gnabry. But then again, it does give me more money if I get Havertz instead. Akanji or Söyüncü, I'd probably go for Akanji. Turkey's defence is just poor. Should I get Bonucci? I'd probably go for Toloi or Bastoni, as I said before. Is McGinn a good differential pick? Yeah, I think he's decent on paper, but I'd look elsewhere, personally. You want to take Shaqiri on the bench? Okay, so just bear in mind, if you see anyone on my bench right now who's playing today, because I haven't finalised my moves yet, I'm still waiting, I'm still kind of thinking about these sorts of things, but yeah, I'm just not exactly sure yet. That's why, my bench isn't ordered yet. Is Batshuayi a good option? If he starts, he is, but it's just a big question mark around him. Is there a limit on subs you can use in the week? Well, yeah, you have 4 substitutes and you can bring any of them on, but you can't just bring someone out and then bring them back in. So just bear that in mind. Force on Jota. I hate him after he got the goal and assist yesterday, but yeah, I think he's a good option going into the knockouts if Portugal go through. Denier set to start? I don't know, mate. I really don't know. Mings or Meunier? I'd prefer Meunier. It's a bit risky, but I prefer him. Moreno or Arnautovic? I'd go for Moreno. Captain in Toloi or Chiesa? Good question. I might actually go for Toloi. I'd be tempted by him. Why Toloi over Ricardo Rodriguez? Plays in a better defence. Toloi has a lot of attacking potential. And Switzerland-Turkey, I'm just not that sure about that game. And also price. Toloi is much cheaper. Perisic or Yamalenko? Yamalenko, mate. Perisic and Yaremchuk or Gnabry and Kramaric? I'd go for Perisic and Yaremchuk. Wijndal or Dumfries? Dumfries, mate. Force on Kimmich, great option at 6 million, but I'm just not so sure about him. But you know what I might do? Instead of Chiesa, I might go for Kimmich or something like that, if I'm being honest. But I'm going to be finalising my team very, very soon. And then after, I'll be completely focused on your questions. I'll have my bench sorted, and we'll be good to go for this match day. So let's see. I think my keepers will stay the same. Gossens. Oh my god. Yeah, Thomas Meunier, Dumfries definitely in. Gossens, Toloi, Tyrone Mings. I mean, that's risky to be fair, but I might go for him. Midfield. Jesus. Attack. Maybe not. Maybe I won't go for Müller. Maybe I'll go for Mbolo. I might actually do that instead. And instead of Shaqiri, I'll go for Havertz. I might go for, or something like that. I mean, I don't want to double up on Switzerland attack. This is an interesting one. Alright, so Havertz or Müller? I mean, I think personally, look, I really like Müller in terms of his international record for Germany, but if you look at both games at the Euros so far, Havertz looked much more lively, but is he worth 9 million? I'm just not so sure. 7 million. Okay, yeah, I think this is what I'm going to be doing. Okay. I'm going to be trying to finalize this. Kimmich. I think, yeah, Depay, I'd really want him for this game. It's a bit risky. I think going for double... I mean, there's a lot of double ups here, if I'm being honest. Double Belgium midfield, double German midfield, double Netherlands attack. Not so sure about that, if I'm being honest. Yaremchuk, yeah, I probably would want him this week. Gerard Moreno, he's another one I could go for. Chiesa, I'm not sure about him, if I'm being honest. I might go for Shaqiri instead, but yeah, it's a big... Is Marlon starting? So, Christopher, there's 2 changes to the Netherlands starting lineup. We don't know that yet. Frank de Boer said there will be 2 changes. And I think Marlon will take Workhorse's place. And also Gravenberch will take De Roon's place. That's what I think. Will Ming start? Not completely nailed, if I'm being honest, for Matchday 3. But I think he will. Morata or Belotti? I'd go for Belotti. Hazard or Perisic? I'd go for Hazard. Will Ming start? Yeah, I already answered that question, Hilal. Don't repeat the same question. Mount and Calvin Phillips are nailed. They are, but they're not really assets you want to have, especially Calvin Phillips. Morata's a good option this week, Uros, but I think I'd prefer Moreno in attack. What do you think about Workhorse? I think he'll be benched, personally. Workhorse is good if he starts, but I think Marlon will take his place. That is possible. Mbolo over Marlon. Yeah, I mean, there's a 2 million price difference, unfortunately, so that would mean downgrading Hazard, most likely. But yeah. Why Eden Hazard over Lukaku? Well, Eden Hazard's definitely playing. Lukaku might not start. This is all by Roberto Martinez himself, but I'm probably going to change it. I don't think I'm going to be keeping this the same. Don't worry about that. Will Dumfries start? I think he will, but I couldn't tell you that for sure. Same with Marlon. So yeah, obviously I wish I had the answers for you. I'm just giving you my opinion. I think Marlon will play alongside Depay up front and taking Workhorse's place, and I think De Roon will be benched for Gravenberch. But honestly, I couldn't tell you with conviction and certainty. I couldn't. It's just my opinion. Will Depay play the next game? I think he will, but once again, not completely nailed. Forward under 7.5 million. Batshuayi, Gerard Moreno, Yaremchuk. Those are probably the standouts. What about goalkeepers? Unai Simon, Donnarumma. Those are the best options really this week. Hazard or Gnabry? I prefer Gnabry probably out of those 2. Mbolo or Belotti? Mbolo just about. Perisic or Sterling? Perisic this week. Any cheap midfielders you recommend? Joshua Kimmich, Chiesa, Shaqiri. Those are pretty cheap. Forward under 7.5 million. Already answered that question. Mbolo or Depay? I prefer Depay if he starts. Yeah, a lot are the same questions, I'll be honest. And like I said, I wish I had the answers in terms of who's starting for the Netherlands. Mbolo or Belotti, I already made my feelings clear. I prefer Mbolo just a bit, but it's a very tough one. You know, they're both very evenly matched. Belotti plays in a better team, but Mbolo's playing against a worse defence. And also he's a bit more of the talisman for Switzerland alongside Shaqiri. So just bear that in mind. Yeah, I think Chiesa will be making way, I think. Depay, man. I really would want Depay for this week, if I'm being honest. Joshua Kimmich, I'm just not sure about. I'm pretty sure about pretty much most of this team, but maybe too many double ups overall. So should I go for Havertz? I might do. I might end up doing that. Kai Havertz. What's his ownership? 6%. Interesting. 14.2 million. 2 players left. Oh dear, we're in trouble, aren't we? We're in trouble, boys. Shaqiri. Damn, man. And how much money do I have? 7.2 million. Ugh, Jesus Christ. It's because of the pie, really. What I might do is Belotti? Belotti up front? Just because I already have Shaqiri? Belotti up front, and how much money would that give me? 9.2 million. My God. These decisions are tough. I'll be honest, I really like Eden Hazard if he starts, but I think Kevin De Bruyne could get the bulk of the points. So yeah, it's an interesting one. It's a very interesting one. We've got half an hour left for the deadline. Remember to lock in your teams. And Jesus, we've got 600 people watching. It's just crazy. Thank you everyone who is watching. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to get through your questions, but I'll be honest, I've got this I wish it was a little doubt. It's a big doubt in my mind about my final team. And yeah, just I think overthinking it isn't the right way to go forward. But if you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new. We're going to be getting back to my team and back to your questions and your comments very, very shortly. Smash the like button, all of that stuff. Share this video around with anyone who loves Euro Fantasy Football. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Dylan_RCM. It's the same as my YouTube handle. You can contact me there throughout the week. So, sometimes you don't even have to come up in the final few minutes asking me, oh, what do you think I should do? Or whatever, it tickles your fancy. But yeah, you can always contact me. I'm always willing to talk. And yeah, really appreciate all the support today. I mean, it's just massive. 600 people watching. And yeah, it's the biggest support we've ever had in a live stream. Let's get back to my team, back to my struggles. And hopefully I can get these struggles done. And then I can completely focus on your issues, because obviously we still have half an hour. We've got some time, but we want to be getting things done ASAP. So I'll be honest, it's just the midfield and the attack that's bothering me. My goalkeepers, I'm happy with that. Unai Simon and Safanov, I could live with that, I think. In terms of the defence, Dumfries, Toloi, Mounier, Gossens, I think they're all pretty nailed in this team. Tyrone Mings, maybe it could be Mela, it could be Pau Torres and a double up in Spain defence. That could be the case. And to be honest, I could see Czech Republic nicking a goal potentially. I know England have had 2 clean sheets, but they were very lucky against Scotland to do that. So I might go for Pau Torres. I know that he got a yellow card yesterday and they didn't look really good. So he could be one of the players staying in my from my original team. I really like Depay, but I could cover him with Marlon, and I could diversify my attack. I like doing that. I like diversifying my attack. So what I could do is go for an Mbolo or a Belotti. And why I really like Mbolo this week is because he's facing Turkey, and they've been one of the worst defences so far. Jesus, excuse me. And yeah, I think what I could do is maybe go for Wijnaldum, but not sure if his ceiling is that high, to be honest. I could go for Perisic or Yamalenko. I would prefer Yamalenko over Perisic, but I already have Yaremchuk. So what I might do is go for Perisic instead, just to diversify the attack. Like I already said quite a few times in this live stream today, I don't want to double up on Ukraine attack against Austria. I think it's going to be quite an even game potentially. So might go for Perisic. But it's seriously so many issues potentially with this team. 0.7 million remaining. I probably wouldn't want to have Shaqiri. I might go for Chiesa instead. But yeah, Shaqiri and Mbolo, or it could be Chiesa and Shaqiri, or should I say Shaqiri and Belotti, or Chiesa and Mbolo. That could be a duo that is worth considering. I don't want to double up on one of their attacks. I don't think it's worth it. I do like Mbolo though. I think he looks pretty sharp. Might take a pun on Chiesa, but then again Shaqiri as well. That's a tough one. So I think what could end up happening, so my final decision could be what I just said there. So in terms of the double up, Mbolo and Chiesa, or Shaqiri and Belotti. So let me know what you think of that situation, but I think the rest is kind of nailed. I probably want to go with something like this. And yeah, I think I do like this team actually. Maybe not Perisic, I might change him. Yeah, might change him, but other than that, I think this could be pretty nailed. Yeah, with even Perisic, just not completely sure about him. Opinions on Isaac? I think he's a good option this week, but I'm just not that sure about Sweden attack, to be honest. That's why I'm not really going for him. Havertz or Gnabry? I prefer Gnabry, personally. Especially his record for Germany. Chiesa or Shaqiri, guys, I think if it's just an isolated incident, I would go for Shaqiri. Best player in the Euros at the moment, I mean, there's plenty of options. Yamalenko stands out for me. Patrick Schick, Cristiano Ronaldo. I think the defenders as well, Dumfries, Spinazzola, I like those players a lot. I think Locatelli, who else? I was going to say in Italian, I think Berardi. I've been impressed by Berardi a lot. So yeah, these sorts of players come to mind in terms of the best players so far in this tournament. Yeah, I'd probably go for those sorts of players. Mela or Kjaer? I go for Mela, definitely Mela. Already answered that question. Bidor, I said I prefer Gnabry. Depay or Mbolo? Depay if money isn't an issue. I'm going Chiesa and Mbolo, fair enough, and I might end up doing that myself. Guys, help me out. Is Stones nailed? He should be nailed, mate. He should be nailed. Gnabry, Hungary like to sit back. Yeah, they do, to be fair, but Gnabry can still dribble past them. But that's a good point you make. Maybe it's not going to be as plain sailing as we think, and maybe doubling up on Germany midfield isn't the way to go. Who should I swap out Ronaldo for? I have Yaremchuk and Depay already. It depends on how much money you have to work with, but if you can just get anyone you want and just downgrade, then I'd probably be looking at Thomas Müller, Embolo, Belotti, Gerard Moreno. Yeah, I think the cheaper options could be the ones to go for this week. Perisic, Sabitzer or Forsberg? I think this week Perisic. Embolo and Chiesa a better option? Potentially, mate. It could be. Havertz or Gnabry? Yeah, I already answered that question, Bidor. No need to spam the chat, mate. I mean, I already answered it. Gnabry for me. Lukaku or Kane? If Lukaku starts, definitely him, but I just don't know if he will. Jordi Alba? Okay. I already talked about like the best Limitless team for this week, and Jordi Alba was one of the first names I mentioned for the defence, so yeah, he's a good option. Will Batshuayi start? I don't know, mate. That's why I'm not sure about getting him. If I had an inclination of him starting, I'd definitely get Batshuayi in my starting lineup. Gnabry, Müller, Havertz, who would you leave out? I'd probably leave out Müller. Probably. Yeah, it's a tough one though. Best captain from tonight? Probably Toloi, Embolo, Shaqiri, and if not, maybe a Belotti. I think it's one of those. Schick is good against England. Decent, but I wouldn't be bringing him in. I wouldn't be, because I think the ceiling is low. He could score a goal, but I think it could be a tight game, as I said before. Take a -4, 8 or wildcard. -4 you could potentially get away with, but I wouldn't take a -8. So I'd probably wildcard. And in my case, I have to, because there's a lot of rotation. Perisic or Yamalenko? I prefer Yamalenko, but because I already have Yaremchuk, I'm more inclined to get Perisic, but to be honest, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about Perisic. Is Marlon nailed to start? Not nailed, but there are going to be 2 changes in the Netherlands, and I suspect Marlon is going to be one of those changes. That's what I think, personally. So, yeah. I think what I'm going to be doing now is getting Chiesa in. Chiesa. I'm not sure about him, man. Not sure about him. But yeah, Yaremchuk, Marlon, Embolo, Havertz, Perisic. Who else could we get for around 9 million? There's not really too many options that stand out for me. 9.2 million. Yamalenko, 0.7 million. Yeah, nah. I mean, in terms of captaincy options, okay, one thing I will say in terms of a lot of people wildcarding to this week, a lot of people won't be going for English players, Croatian players, Scottish players, or Czech Republican players, so you might not have a captaincy option on Tuesday. But then again, I think both games are quite tough to call, and it's not really ideal to have a captaincy choice anyway, but maybe just having one player or so from those nations is actually important. So maybe that kind of promotes the likes of Perisic as viable options this week. So yeah, that's something worth considering, I think. And yeah, Gnabry and Havertz. I'm not so sure about the Germany double up, if I'm being honest. Let's see. Serge Gnabry, I think he's due. I really liked him against Portugal. I think he had a fantastic performance. Perisic, Yamalenko. Yamalenko and Yaremchuk. Yaremchuk, man. Yaremchuk. Yamalenko. One thing I noticed with Perisic as well is that in previous tournaments when he has scored, he's a bit streaky. He scores in the next game or so. So he is a bit of a streaky player. He is going to be the talisman for Croatia, but I'm just not that confident in Croatia. And that game is going to be tight, but I don't know. There's just not that many options around 8-9 million that really stand out to me. Yarmolenko does in a way, but doubling up with Yaremchuk, just not for me, personally. Kane to start? Yeah, I think Kane will start. Perisic or Hazard? If money isn't an issue, I'd go for Hazard. Yaremchuk, Belotti, Embolo, Shaqiri, Chiesa, KDB, Vermaelen, Rodriguez, Mela, Toloi, Simon, Kai, Gnabry, Gossens. Any suggestions? It looks really good. I'd probably just be wary because you're doubling up on Switzerland and Italian attack. I'd probably look to change one of those players, at least. I don't know about Wijnaldum. Can you tell me better options? Yeah, I'm not too sure about him either, but from Netherlands you can cover him with Marlon or Depay and Dumfries. As for midfielders around the same price, I'd be looking at Perisic, Yamalenko, Gnabry, Havertz. If you can stretch Hazard, Kevin De Bruyne. If you can downgrade as well, Shaqiri as well, or I nearly forgot him, Chiesa. I think those are kind of the best options around that price. Maybe a cheeky pun on Grealish, but I'm not sure about that. What about Ferran Torres? He's still a good option, but I'll be honest, what I've seen from Spain and their attack, I'm just not confident. I prefer the defensive assets. Depay or Marlon, if money isn't an issue, go for Depay, definitely. He's going to be on all set pieces. Yeah, he's just a great option this week. I really want to have him myself, if I'm being honest. But yeah, and I actually want to have both of them, Depay and Marlon. I think that could be exceptional. What I might do actually, let's see, Chiesa, just why, man? Yeah, I just don't think it's possible to have Depay, if I'm being honest. In terms of if I want the rest of my players as well and Kevin De Bruyne, it's just not possible. But yeah. Marlon, Yaremchuk. We've got 90 minutes left for the deadline. Thank you everyone who is still watching. And yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to be locking in my team in the next few minutes because 1, the site is crashing. 2, the more you overthink, I think you deviate away from your original plan. And yeah, it's just not a good idea to do that. So I'm going to be looking to do this soon. Gnabry and Havertz, I think, covers Germany well. Same with Gossens, Thomas Meunier and Kevin De Bruyne. Marlon and Dumfries, I think that's good cover for Netherlands. Hopefully they both start. Yaremchuk's good cover. Chiesa, not sure about him if I'm being honest, but yeah. Let's see. What I might do is go for Belotti. Andrea Belotti. I'm going to check his record actually for Italy and see how it stacks up, but I'm not sure if it's that impressive. He used to be a starter a few years ago when Italy were very bad. But obviously he has lost his place now. He's got 12 goals in 34 appearances. That's not a bad record at all. And if you see Batshuayi, he's got 22 goals in 34 appearances. So that is something worth considering. He's got 2 goals in 3 games in 2021. So that's pretty impressive. Someone maybe worth considering. I think Mbolo's record isn't as impressive. He's got like 6 goals or something like that for Switzerland. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, to be honest. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm normally very firm with the kind of options I go for, and I stick to it, and then yeah, I just let fate do whatever. But some of the things that happened, wait, let's see. Oh, okay, wow, that is okay. So some news for you. I just saw it on Twitter. So in terms of the Netherlands, it's very likely that the 2 changes made to the starting lineup are what I said before. So Weghorst and De Roon making way for Gravenberch and Daniel Marlon. So Marlon should be starting. He's a great option this week. And yeah, also Gravenberch, he should be starting as well. So Weghorst, if you have him, get rid of him and get Marlon potentially. I think he could be very good, or Depay. So hopefully you got that, and yeah, very good news, and I think it should be confirmed. I think the reason why this is coming about is because someone took a picture, a cameraman took a picture of the notes that Frank de Boer was holding, his assistant was holding during training. So yeah, it looks like those are going to be the 2 changes made. So yeah, Shaqiri or Perisic. If I had enough money, I'd probably say Perisic, to be honest. Meunier or Jordi Alba? Meunier, if you back him to start. You could cover Spain with Pau Torres or Unai Simon. Mbolo or Belotti. I mean, I like both of them, but probably Mbolo just a bit. Damsgaard, madness incoming, potentially. Marlon and Depay, I think it's worth doubling up, but like something I've struggled with all day, really, is fitting in Marlon and Depay, but I think it could be worth it, to be honest. But yeah. Like, for example, now I'd probably have to downgrade one of these players. It's just not ideal, is it? Kai Havertz. Yeah, nah, I don't know. I mean, it could require downgrading Thomas Meunier and all these sorts of players, but just I'm not interested. Chiesa. I've said this all along. I don't like the assets around 6-7 million apart from Berardi. Kimmich could be alright, I guess. But yeah, Chiesa, Maybe this is the time that he shines. Yeah, not so sure though about him. Not so sure. Dumfries or Rodriguez? Dumfries for me, no doubt about it. KDB or Hazard? KDB. Bonucci or Shaqiri captain? I'd go for Shaqiri captain. Yes, Damsgaard will do bits, trust me. I'm not so sure about Damsgaard, to be honest. Let's see. Midfielder 6 million. Fair enough. I mean, yeah, no, just not for me. Thoughts on Belotti? Good option this week and probably one of the better captaincy options. Decent record for Italy. I'm just not so sure about him. Bro, who's better this week? Havertz or Gnabry? Gnabry, I've said this before, personally, based on his record for Germany, how he played against Portugal. Really like that. Don't forget to activate your wildcard. Yeah, of course. I mean, this is the thing. I'm literally just stuck trying to finalise this. That's the only reason I've divvied and not finalised it. But I need to sort out my bench soon. We've only got 14 minutes. I don't want the site crashing on me. Definitely not. But I think Daniel Malen and Dumfries could be good cover for the Netherlands. Maybe I could look elsewhere. Depay isn't everything. But I do sense a big call for Depay. But you can't have everyone you want, unfortunately. So what I might end up doing... Kai Havertz. Jesus. Hello. Yamalenko. And who? Yeah, Mbola. I think this is what I'm going to go for then. Jesus. God give me strength. But yeah, hopefully this ends up well. I've got 0.7 million remaining. I could potentially... I mean, I'd actually rather have maybe Hazard instead of Havertz. But yeah. I mean, what would be really good is if I could do Chiesa to Wijnaldum, but that would require downgrade elsewhere from a few million. So maybe Yaremchuk to a Moreno or something like that, or Mbolo. I'm just not sure about that. But yeah, having Wijnaldum, Dumfries and Malen could be really good cover for the Netherlands. I could see some goals for all of them, really. Wijnaldum. No, I'm going to be sticking to Chiesa. I'm going to show a bit of faith in Chiesa. He did really well for me in Champions League Fantasy. Hopefully he can do the same again today. The rest of the 0.7 million, you don't have to spend it. This is what I mean. But what I might do is actually go for Stecklenburg. I think he's going to start. And he will be my backup keeper. Yeah, I think I'll probably do that, actually. Double up, though, in Spain defence and Netherlands defence. Not ideal. Not ideal, to be honest. So let's just get Stecklenburg in. Okay, so I'm going to be finalising this team. Finally, I know. Apologies to everyone who had to witness that kind of suffering there. 0.2 million left. Doesn't really matter. You don't have to spend it. Pau Torres. Could go for Tyrone Mings or someone else. Toloy is definitely going to be in it. Gossens. Yeah, Meunier, Dumfries. Yeah, you know what? To be honest, I like this. I like this team a lot. Yamalenko and Yaremchuk. Not so sure about that. I might just go for Perisic and have a bit more cover. Different teams, different days. And yeah, I think we're good to go. I think this is how I'm going to end up going. Yeah, I think this is going to be my final team then. Okay, finally. Let's activate the wild card. Yep, done. Live, on air, on stream. Apologies for that. We've got 12 minutes remaining, or 11 minutes now. And I'll be going through all your questions. So, yeah. As you can see, look how many changes I'm making there. Getting rid of Depay, Ronaldo, Lukaku, Insigne, Berardi, Jota, Kjaer, Mæhle, Wijndal, Denayer, Donnarumma, Hradeski, Nigo, and Ferran Torres. All of them getting rid of. My God. No wildcard in the knockout stages once it's confirmed, but it's done. It's done. I mean, I'm just in a situation where I'd get low points if I didn't otherwise. I'm waiting for this to confirm. The website is crashing a lot. Something went wrong. Oh, don't tell me I have to do that all again. Come on. Well, we'll see now. The moment of truth when this loads up. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty interesting. Lewandowski or Belotti? Belotti for me. Bale in or out? I mean, I wouldn't get him in and I wouldn't get him out. Why Mbolo over Belotti? I mean, I just prefer that combination of him and Chiesa. There's not really much more to it. Alaba or Damsgaard? I mean, out of those two, probably Damsgaard. But otherwise, you could go for Joshua Kimmich. Can see Wales bringing it to Italy today. Yeah, it's actually possible. That's why I'm not going triple up. That's why I'm not doubling up on the defence. Best 5 limitless mids. Kevin De Bruyne, no doubt. I'd go for Serge Gnabry, Eden Hazard. These sorts of players. Who else? Kai Havertz. And I'd go for one of Yarmolenko, Perisic or Wijnaldum. I'd probably be looking at those sorts of players. And look, they didn't even make the transfers for me, for Christ's sake. It's like they don't want me to play the wild card. So once again, I've got to make these changes. So yeah, let's see what happens there. Insigne, Berardi. Yeah, I mean, look how many changes we're making. Veindal. Donnarumma could keep a clean sheet, but 5.5 million, I can cover him with Toloi. Don't know why I have to do it again, but here we go. So let's see. Could maybe go for one bench option like Nigo, and that gives me even more money elsewhere. Something I might consider. So stay tuned for that. So yeah, Marlon. Let's put him in. Good thing that I remember most of these. Yaremchuk. Hello? Oh yeah, I spelled it wrong. Yaremchuk. Oh my god, this website, Jesus. Might have to do it on the app actually. But yeah, this is bad. This is really bad. It's not even letting me do my transfers. Lukaku. Okay, so Marlon, Yaremchuk, and Mbolo. Then I'd be looking at. Oh my god, give me strength. Let's just do it from here. Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah. Perisic. Gnabry. Yeah, let's go for the ones I actually do remember. Simon. Stecklenburg. Toloi. Dumfries. Jesus, the clock is ticking, isn't it? Dumfries. Thomas Meunier. So who else? We've got 2 defenders remaining. Pau Torres, I guess. Yeah, Pau Torres can keep his place. And you know what? Let me just actually check the video. I already had the thing on screen. Dumfries. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Gossens. How can I forget Gossens? Jesus Christ. He's one of the best options this week on paper. Gossens, and who's my final defender? Gossens, Thomas Meunier, Pierre. Yeah, the defense is fine. The midfield. Could go for Kai Havertz. No, forget it. No. Havertz. And we've got 7.2 million left, and that's where I go in with Chiesa. Backing him after his Champions League masterclasses for me earlier in the season. Something like that I think is probably what I'm going to end up going for. You know what, actually? Chiesa and Mbolo. Shaqiri and Belotti. That's tough. That's actually tough. I'm actually considering Shaqiri and Belotti, actually. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna actually go for that, but that could literally bite me. Yeah, you know what? Let's just stick with Chiesa. I'm not overthinking it. Okay, wildcard play. Activate wildcard. Next. Come on, just play it. Okay, finally. There we go. Okay, now I can sort my bench. So remember, click on the date. Make sure that no one is on your bench. Obviously, that you're going to regret. So, yeah, let me take out Gnabry. He plays on the final day. Yeah, let's confirm this. I'll probably be captaining Toloi or Mbolo, to be honest. Come on, confirm it, damn it. Jesus. Yeah, this website is crashing. I'd recommend to all of you to get your transfers done in right now. I left it too late, so apologies for that. But yeah, definitely. Okay, keep editing. Come on, confirm, man. Jesus, I can't even confirm my captain. Oh my god, this is a mess. Let's see if I can go on the app. This is actually incredible. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of hype around this at the moment. Oh my god. You've got to be kidding me. You've really got to be kidding me. Alright, so view team. Come on. I literally have to go. I'm going on my phone right now on the app to make the changes because right now it's just not looking good. Okay, no. What do you mean create team? Did they just sign me out? What the hell is this about? My god. Unbelievable. It literally logged me out. This is actually crazy, man. Wow. View team. Yeah, 4 minutes. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Fuck. Fucking hell. Alright, Chiesa, come in. Come on. For the love of Christ, come in. Just sub out. Oh my god. This is actually incredible. Something went wrong. I can't believe the site's actually crashing like this. Come on, just bring on Chiesa. Unbelievable. Oh my god. Let's see, what is this happening to any of you? Yeah, my app is frozen. Yeah, no, this is crazy. Well, I might, if this is the case, then I might actually just end up going for someone else instead of Chiesa, because I don't want to just have him on my bench for nothing. So yeah, this is actually mad. Come on. Yeah, the app is frozen. Bale or Hazard? I'd go for Hazard this week, mate. Oh my god, this is actually incredible. Fucking hell. I mean, I'm pretty happy with my team overall, I'll be honest. I like the team. I think it could do really well this week. But come on, let me put on Chiesa for Christ's sake. Otherwise, you know what? If you can even let me make transfers, just in case, what I might do is go for Hazard and Kimmich. Something like that. And it just avoids the problem. Toloy's already in my starting lineup. But I can't even change my captain. This is the thing. So, this is actually insane at the moment. Chiesa. Come on. Surely I can sub him on, right? Yeah, for Gnabry? Like for like replacement? My god. Is anything else? Use your phone app, fair enough. It's just my app is also frozen. That's the thing. So yeah, it's kind of mad. But yeah, hopefully we can get it here done. Jesus Christ. Unbelievable. This is literally a nightmare as well. View team. It's literally just stuck on fantasy football as well. And it just comes up with the green screen that comes up at the beginning. But yeah, you know what I might just do just in case. Oh my god, come on. Okay. This is going to be very awkward. But yeah, I'm going to be captaining. Let's see, transfer out. Captaining Bolo. Yeah. So on screen, what you see here, this is really weird. So the changes did actually save. So if you have made changes, don't worry. On the app, it actually shows Chiesa in my starting lineup. But right here, as you can see right now, Chiesa's on my bench. So the website hasn't. So I think it does the changes, but the reason why something goes wrong is because there's too much traffic, so it can't deal with all the stuff that's going on. But the changes are actually being saved. So Chiesa is in my starting lineup, so is Toloy, and so is Mbolo. And at the moment, I'm captaining Mbolo. I'm really targeting that Turkey fixture, and now watch Turkey turn up. But yeah, apologies for all that like late mayhem. I mean, I've never experienced anything like that, and yeah, it just shows why it's really important to have your teams kind of locked in from earlier. But let me try get for any last questions that you have. It works for me on the phone. Fair enough. UEFA sucks. Yeah, I mean, I've never had this issue with FPL or even UCL Fantasy really, but yeah. Seferovic captain, fair enough. I've seen him score some crucial ups before. Thank you everyone, by the way, who recommended to use it on the app or to at least double check. Really appreciate that. Yeah, all done on my phone quickly. Mbolo or Belotti? I prefer Mbolo just a bit, but just bear in mind that Belotti has a great record for Italy. So maybe going for him and Shaqiri is the way to go. But I've just gone for Mbolo and Chiesa. But yeah, don't worry guys, don't worry. The app, I've already done the changes on the app. It literally says Chiesa is in my starting lineup. For some reason it's not done here. But yeah, and actually, I mean, would I even be tempted to do Shaqiri and Belotti? Maybe, but I think I'm going to stick to Mbolo and Chiesa. Yeah, the lineup is, or should I say the lineup, the deadline's going to pass any minute now. Thank you everyone who's still here. Fuck UEFA, I can't open. Yeah, it's mad. Yeah, look, now, there you go. I refreshed it and Chiesa's in. So, yeah, the lineup's going to pass any second now. Yeah, it's already 5 o'clock. And this is what I've gone with. Unai Simon, Stecklenburg as my keepers. My defence is Thomas Meunier, Gossens, Dumfries, Toloy. And then, yeah, Perisic, Chiesa, De Bruyne, Yaremchuk, Mbolo, Marlon. And yeah, I've got Havertz, Gnabry, and Pau Torres on the bench. So yeah. Chiesa's on your bench. No, don't worry. He's on my starting lineup. As you can see, I refreshed the page. It's all good. Belotti or Chiesa captain fast. I would go for Belotti if I had both. Belotti captain for me, yeah. The reason why, look, I prefer Shaqiri and... I need to clear my head. I prefer Shaqiri and Belotti as a partnership over Mbolo and Chiesa. But because of the fixture, and I think Mbolo can do really well against Turkey, that's why I've gone for him and Chiesa, and also captaining him. So let's see what happens there, and hopefully it's a good day of football. But that was chaotic, and this was a stream with so many people. I mean, there's still 300 here. Really appreciate it, and of course there was 600 at one point, and I was literally just... obviously trying to answer your questions, but also thinking about my wildcard team. And yeah, it's just definitely never again. Never again. Bro, put Stecklenburg on. Yeah, don't worry, I will. I will after. It's not a problem because I can make those changes. I can bring on Stecklenburg for Simon after, but I literally... The main thing was getting the players who play today on. But don't worry, I'll be putting Stecklenburg in for Simon, and there won't be an issue. Don't worry. Your team's very risky. Yeah, it is, but that's the point of the wildcard in this case. To take some punts... and hopefully they pay off. But yeah, it is risky. But compare it to my team, if it shows it. Compare it to this team. Insigne benched, Berardi benched, Ronaldo and Jota against France. Lukaku might be benched, Veindel might be benched, Denayer might be benched, Chiara Mailer against Russia. I think just having one of them's enough. Donnarumma's fine against Wales, I guess. Nigo's just bench fodder. Hradecky against Belgium. Ferran Torres against Slovakia. To be fair, he's decent. And Pau Torres, but on the whole... my team was a mess. I think it needed a wild card. Thank you, Aditi. Wait, let me try to pronounce that right. Aditya. Hopefully I got that right. Thank you for that. Belotti, Moreno, Marlon, Perisic, Havertz, Yamalenko, KDB, Ricardo Pereira, Mailer, Toloi, Sommer. That looks really good, Yusuf. That looks really, really good. Thank you, Prasham. I'm not a legend. Definitely not, especially today. Normally I'm much more... I don't know about composed, but I'd say I'm a bit more firm with my selection, so I don't leave it to the last minute. And as you can see with this game, definitely don't leave it last minute because, whoa, imagine that. Gossens with 14 points already. I wish, mate. I mean, yeah, look, the app is just bugging out. I mean, what is this? It says I've got 16 points. What is going on? Seriously. Oh my God, this is unbelievable. It's just been so chaotic today, but yeah. I couldn't change because I was too late. I have Chiesa captain now. It's fine. I think Chiesa could still do well, and you've got captain options for the next few days. But yeah, it's not ideal. I mean, the app and the website were just really crashing. Emerson or Toloi, in your opinion? I went for Emerson. I prefer Toloi because he's cheaper, and also just his attacking potential. I really liked it. So that's my personal opinion on it. But yeah, don't worry about that. I think they're both good options. Won't you cancel Simon's points if you sub him on? No. So in terms of substitutions, unless this has changed... yeah, ignore this 2 points, by the way. Unai Simon isn't playing yet. Yeah, so Stecklenburg plays first. Jesus, look at this app. It's literally driving me insane. But yeah, Stecklenburg will play first, but Simon isn't playing either, so you can make that change. But the only way that if you make a substitution and you can't bring them back on after taking them off is when they have already played their match. So don't worry about that. I'll be fixing that as soon as I can. Stecklenburg will be coming in. I realised that, but... literally, I had no time, and the app was already crashing in itself. I didn't want to cause something or cause further complications. I'm just leaving it as it is. But yeah, Stecklenburg will be coming in for Simon. I'll be sorting out my bench as well because obviously I didn't have enough time. But the main thing, getting in Chiesa, Toloi, and Mbolo, the three players who played today. Mbolo's my captain. Let's see what happens there. Fuck UEFA. Yeah, I mean, they're just not used to that sort of traffic, but they need to improve that for sure. Lukaku of Mbolo. If he starts, Lukaku's definitely a better option, but I'm just not sure if he will. You should have captained Toloi. Yeah, maybe, but I think Wales could potentially nick a goal. That's why. But Toloi, I think, could do really well today. Either way, let's see the ownerships, actually. I think Toloi might be a differential. Yeah, 0% as well. Maybe I should have gone for him. But so is Mbolo, 0%. Wow, look at the ownership there for both of them, unless everyone's now 0% suddenly. Oh no, yes, no, forget it. Yeah, yeah, forget that then. Everyone's 0% owned apparently. This game is literally glitching out. But yeah, they're both differentials. I think Mbolo's more highly owned, but it is what it is. Captain Shaqiri with Mbolo, no Belotti, but do have Chiesa. No Perisic because Scotland's defence looked good. Yeah, I wasn't too sure about Perisic to be honest, but just to diversify my attack, but... yeah, I think Scotland looked pretty good. Well done, Dylan. Can't wait for Kimmich to outscore Havertz, though. Yeah, that would just be typical, wouldn't it? But yeah. My app froze, so I've got players on the bench who are playing now. I'm annoyed. No, don't worry about that. It'll be fine after. But Oh, in terms of just not even the visual glitch. If you have players who are playing right now on your bench, it's a big shame. But yeah, I think they should extend the deadline personally because of what they did. But it is what it is. I mean, it would still be a bit unfair because the games are going on and they're not going to tell the players, hey, stop your game, we're trying to fix the fantasy thing or whatever. But yeah, I was just looking too much into it. You got your highest views in the most difficult and chaotic scenario. Hard work does bring success. Good luck, mate. Thank you, Sharon. And yeah, not ideal in a way in terms of, so many people watching and I want to respond to every single question, but literally the wildcard, the crash site, oh my god, it literally it blows your head. But thank you for that, really appreciate it. Thanks, Dylan. Like you say, let's meet in the league. Yeah, I forgot to say that actually. Remember to join the league by using the league code at the top of your screen, or if you go in the description, there's a league code. Well, you can just copy and paste that, or just click the link and you automatically join. At this moment, the app is saying that my Ronaldo got 9 points, lol. UEFA GG. Yeah, this team is trash. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate it. Go to my channel live now. Fair enough. Turkey are playing great right now. Yeah, that's typical, isn't it? As soon as I get in Bolo. But Turkey, I mean, they should be doing better on paper. They just haven't done it, really. Prices already changed for the next round. Yeah, and I'll be having a look. I think that also plays a part into why the site is crashing. There's just so many different things going on. 1-0 Switzerland. I hope you're not lying about that. But yeah, I had a mini heart attack until I saw my team. I didn't have a heart attack. I mean, I'm not going to take it too seriously in that way. But I wasn't, I wasn't happy. The fact that, what's it called? That I had Chiesa on my bench and all of that. Switzerland 1-0, come on. Seferovic scored, so I think someone did say they had Seferovic, so fair play for whoever does have him. Whoever does have him, I can't even speak at the moment. But yeah, 1-0 already. Yeah, Switzerland scored. Seferovic, hopefully an assist by Mbolo, but I have a feeling it'll probably be Shaqiri or something. I haven't checked the game. I'll be checking the game soon. But yeah, early goal, and Turkey, Jesus Christ, they've been bad. But yeah, 150 people watching now. Really appreciate all that. I mean, it was so chaotic. We had so many people watching and I really appreciate it. And once again, follow me on Twitter and Instagram and smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, all that good stuff. And there'll be more Euro 2020 fantasy football videos and live streams in the future. Same with UCL Fantasy if you play that, and FPL. I'll be making more content across the summer and also when the season starts. So stay tuned for that. And you can contact me on Twitter and Instagram talking about football, FPL, UCL Fantasy, Euro Fantasy Football, or whatever. You can talk to me there through DMs, also just public messages. So really appreciate all the support. I'm going to be taking a break now. Wish you all the very best of luck, and hopefully this week is much better than match day 2, and yeah, the wild card pays off. Hopefully that happens. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.